Today's matchup, Kingzone DragonX, MVP, beginning of the end. 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Spring Split.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring. And yes, it was a 2-0 in our first series, but still only a short 20-minute break. Everything's brilliant, and now it's time for Kingzone to take on MVP. And look, you look at the series and you're thinking, pretty set in stone. You know, Kingzone they're number one. They should easily be able to take the second last team in the league down. But is it really that simple, Papa Smithy?
The lingering
Is it
doubt.
that simple? I don't know.
That voice at the back of your head that's quiet usually in the LCK where you're like, okay, it all makes sense. The voice is getting louder, Atlas. The voice is screaming. It does feel like the greater than chains. By the way, we're not showing you some
yeah, we wanted to show you the standings.
We just want to keep it on us as long as possible because we look great. This is silk, by the way. The greater than chains work against them because BBQ beat Kingzone DragonX.
Here we are.
And then MVP beat BBQ twice in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
Therefore, they're favorites.
I think so. I think that's how it works. I think that's pretty much how it works. In fact, the last 3 victories that MVP had were against BBQ Olivers twice and SK Telecom. And SK Telecom look much better now, 2-0ing Rocks, who just took down KT. These better than chains. I want someone to actually try and make one that makes sense, because I don't think it's actually possible. The Kingzone's still definitely out in front. Up on top, you wouldn't expect one of their losses to be against BBQ, but it is. The other one, KSV, in the first match that they had so far in this series. And we're going to start on their side of the map. It's going to be the Kingzone you know and love.
Which is different to what Kingzone played the last time they played MVP. That time, it was Rascal in the lineup. So they actually reinforced with Khan, his first taste of taking on ADD in the top side. We know that Khan had some very clear words to say he's not a big fan of that pesky Scion, and he gets to go against the dirtiest Scion picker of them all.
Absolute filthiest Scion picker. This is a team on the side of MVP where they could have Ornn and Scion on the same team.
Oh my god.
But the most bad. As far as, matchup excitement is concerned, I mean, both of the champions actually do have a fantastic role. As you guys know, in the current meta, it just doesn't exactly equate to entertaining League of Legends. And I want this man on your screen right now to be able to pop off on his Riven, on his Jace, on his exciting picks that have really been bringing Kingzone into their explosive forefront of power.
Well, knowing ADD, that is the last thing he wants. He wants him as close to a tank as possible. Yep. And MVP will be sticking with Pilot. Pilot has been in and out of the team, but he played all the games against BBQ. So he's 4-0, a hot streak for Pilot.
Yeah, Pilot was actually looking pretty good, honestly, against the bottom lane of BBQ that just decimated Jin Air. You have to say that Ghost and Ignar actually looked really, really good. So Pilot and Max being able to school them in back-to-back series is the most confusing thing ever. Oh, classic. Ian as well just watched on his attempt to play the Syndra. Ian, of course, a fantastic Syndra player in his own right, was certainly one of his favorite champions. And Sion's back in the meta. ADD's still in the top lane. If it's MVP's time to shine, if that's ever, it's now. It's got to be now.
And the problem is, usually you could tell we're being super facetious about this match, but it's been so weird recently that you can't know. A FLICKR tripping up twice last week, Kingzone losing to BBQ, and MVP against only BBQ, looking really good. So what does it all mean? It means that MVP are way better ever since the SKT series than any time before. 10 losses in a row. And then if you look at their recent games, they're 6-5. That's positive, Atlas.
Yeah.
In their recent times. Kingzone DragonX, we think they're out alone as the best team after KT Rolster went down unceremoniously to Rocks Tigers yesterday. But think is the operative word. We don't know that yet because things have been weird and wonderful again and again in recent memory.
Yep, mostly weird. As you can see, the loss streak trying their very best to challenge the win streak that Kingzone was on. In fact, MVP had the same loss streak as a Freak of Freaks winning streak. if you guys want some trivia there. But being able to pick things back up again and doing so better is,
it's getting smaller though.
It's the Princess and the Pea type situation though, isn't it, with this particular one?
It's getting smaller though. Kingzone were completely off the screen before, and now they're being reined into a bit of normalcy. However, you have such amusing numbers as 7.3 to 1.7 in the jungle, which is not good.
And the 6.0 to 1.6 as well. ADD not exactly doing very much KDAing.
Pilot's recent games, at least, have allowed him to have a 4.5 KDA, but this is certainly an uphill battle for MVP.
Oh, yes.
10th versus 1st in Team KDA, 6.3 to 2.2. Honestly, in every role, the team of Kingzone outskill and have longer histories than that of MVP. But it doesn't always matter because MVP, person for person, player for player, has never been their strength. And their teamwork, again, primarily against the opposition of BBQ, should be praised. And if you go to history, which really doesn't mean that much because it's kind of been all over the place in terms of lineups.
Summer 2016 for MVP to actually have some positive results.
I feel like we could have cut it off in 2017 and been slightly less facetious.
It's also a little bit of a different roster if you guys were to think back then.
But they're all equal, Atlas. It's all set up for a surprise.
Oh, of course, absolutely. Okay, the ones that matter though, if you are looking on, is from 2017 onwards. That's when they actually make sense, and also when, you know, MVP were able to grab one in their sort of dream run that they had second half of spring, but otherwise it's all been the Longzhu / Kingzone show when it comes to this matchup. 8 versus 8. Oh, it's just...
What's the problem, Atlas? These are the facts.
There's just a lot of facetiosity going on here, Papa Smithy.
That's not a word.
I know it's not. I said it facetiously.
Well, you know what another word? Another word is Peanut. He's a player that we're going to look at on the side of Kingzone. He was subbed out pretty unceremoniously after their loss in Game 1 against FLICKR. Was a little bit too fast and loose around the Baron and gave up his life, and the passage of play allowed FLICKR to win. Peanut otherwise been very, very strong this season. We loved his Zac, very aggressive on the Zac. He's #1 in everything except DPM. He's been playing a couple of tanks alongside the Kazakhs, but he will be starting here in Game 1. I know there still is a lot of people out there that think that Longzhu, now Kingzone, squares up even more. When Cuz in the lineup, Peanut is showing that he should be the starter, and he needs another performance here to cement that.
Yeah, we'll see whether he is going to be jumping on one of the tanks, because he has made us a bit of a believer of Peanut playing regular champions. You know, you see that he does have he was the first one to try out the Nidalee, and didn't go so well in game #1, I believe. It was in their KSV series to debut Kingzone DragonX into 2018.
And now we get to compare the supports as well, Gorilla and Max.
Oh, Gorilla got a bit of punishment, didn't he, in the last series?
KDA went tumbling down to 3rd, just not acceptable.
Absolutely
unacceptable. And Max is known for his DPM, Atlas. We had 147 DPM because he likes to play range supports. He loses with them, but he likes to play them.
And also, the assists per game stat is really unfair because his team went on a 10-game losing streak. How are you supposed to get assists?
Yeah, assists on 3 kills, not actually that impressive in whole numbers. Percentage of teams' assists probably going to be a little bit closer. Kills per game, though, Atlas. He's a confirmed killer.
Oh, he's such a killer.
He kills 0.7 of a person a game. I hope that's not 0.7 of a Warmarks person, otherwise they're going to heal to full health in 3 seconds.
Oh, Max.
Meanwhile, no kills for Gorilla.
No.
That's something for him to work on. If you look at the stats, Gorilla should get more kills. That would improve his fantasy scores.
He's also really good at dying as well, Papa. He's like the worst fantasy pick that you can possibly get on the best team so far in the LCK.
And he speaks good enough English for us to insult him about it.
Hopefully he listens to the English broadcast.
Oh, I'll just tell him afterwards. Don't worry. I can
nice. Have we got a timestamp? Can someone like link that one to us? That would be really, really great. But let's see what the prediction is. Are the MVP fans coming out? Because, man, the stadium actually has a whole bunch of people in it tonight.
People want to see Kingzone. They think they are the champions-elect, are reigning champions as Longzhu Gaming, and no surprise, a lot of people think they'll beat MVP.
Yep, surprise, surprise there. But I could imagine that the MVP faithful will certainly be here in the stadium. So if they weren't soundproof booths, you could imagine that MVP would be feeling all of the support that these guys are giving them. Ian is just so damn popular.
He is really popular. Very famous streaming personality. Loves his anime as well. So he attracts a certain crowd. But I think Twitch chat has plenty of that crowd as well, so maybe they'll let themselves be heard. We want to see the pick and ban. We want to see the game. We want to see some banner commands.
I want to see some Scion bans. That's what I want to see, Papa Smithy. I want to see ADD not playing that champion, and we are going to get our wish, or your wish, as we do head into Champion Select. Gangplank going to be the first ban here up against ADD, which I find a little bit odd. Kingzone are going to go with it anyway, just because it's the standard.
I think it's great, because ADD this season is 3-3 on the Gangplank, 50% win rate on a team that has far less than 50% as an overall win rate. Makes sense to put him out there. His effective champion pool has been Gangplank, Cho'Gath, and Maokai, so...
I just feel like if you can funnel ADD into playing Gangplank, it gives Khan so many offensive options towards the top side of the map.
He's only allowed to play one game of Riven a year, though, Atlas, so unfortunately...
What?
I know, it's in his contract.
Hey, can you Yasuo Windwall parlay? I think you can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just play Yasuo into it.
One day, the Khan Yasuo that's always been implied but never unleashed, apart from some solo queue. But right now, another focus ban here. So Beyond was drawing Skarner bans even before it became a pretty staple ban. Seeing what happens here, I think we might see another Jace vs Scion matchup. If MVP, I'm going to be banning that one away, and a Varus ban towards Pilot. Even though Pilot's been kind of on Ezreal and Kalista duty in recent memory. Could just be a first pick Ezreal when you have the Varus and the Kalista taken away. Only Caitlyn really looms as lane dominant.
Well, Xayah as well is available and did have a lot of priority in our last series.
Xayah Rakan hasn't been big for Kingzone, though, even though Prey and Gorilla are maybe the most beloved duo around. And I love this ban. Talia going to be banned against BDD. May have had one brain explosion in Game 2, but otherwise outstanding on the pick. Would leave open another global, a champion that plays very similar in terms of what it brings to the Rift. Will they actually lock it in, though? Because Kingzone have been the kings of the mental warfare, Atlas. They love to hover and then last second pivot away. But this time they will cement the Galio first pick.
Yeah, Galio going to be locked in.
Azir, Lucian, a lot of scaling picks. Corki as well for Ian. A lot of options available into the Galio. But it's what Galio represents for Kingzone. Always known for their early game rotations, their ability to play the map. Having Galio there to cement invades from Peanut is very powerful, as, of course, you're going to play Scion ADD, but right now, he's going to hold on to it.
Yeah, he is. So the Lovers bot lane is going to be picked up. So MVP, agree with BBQ and Jinna. You know, this is like the new hotness on the bottom side. Is Kingzone now going to be able to potentially pick away the Scion if they wanted to, which is going to be really sad. I'm
very interested to see if we see conventional logic. When you see Galio, you usually think Caitlyn Braum in this scenario. Or is it just going to be an Ezreal lane and the Galio going elsewhere? When it comes to the bot lane draft from the side of Kingzone?
It's only the Varus and the Kalista that have been banned away. So things like Tristana that hasn't been all that popular here in Korea.
And Prey has never really been a Tristana player. Legacy on many different carries, but not the Trist.
Yeah, this one, of course, one of them. Don't know whether...
The Praven was not something to speak about, though.
Yeah.
Does he get one a season, though? Yeah, it's probably going to be no.
He definitely gets a lot of Ezreal.
They flashed the Jace for half second, but they want to ensure that Prey can jump on to Ultra Comfort, his 13th game on the Ezreal already this season. And we know that Kingzone doesn't play a lot of 3-game series. So that is a high percentage of his champion pool.
Yeah, massive. Ian hovering the Lucian wants to make it be known that Kingzone should be fearing this potential pick.
I think Corki or Azir would be much smarter picks here, because we expect ADD to be on a tank, and I guess the most damage out of his champion pool will be a Cho'Gath, so there would be almost no magic damage if they went for a Lucian.
I just think that Corki Xayah is such a strong offensive combo, given the fact that you're basically playing double AD, but you do magic and physical almost evenly split. So Ian going to be able to lock that one away, and it's safe in lane at the same time. Like, I like it. I think it's pretty good from MVP.
I like it a lot more than the Varus and Corki we saw, because then we saw Tank Jax answer it so cleanly with the Counter-Strike and the Adaptive Helm. Now that you have true physical damage carry in the Xayah, the itemization for a champion like that would change. And there's already a Sejuani, of course, in this game, but already MVP showing some nice scaling and also a very strong duo that basically beats every Ezreal lane. So they're feeling very good about the draft so far, even if Galio is a pretty big prize to give over to one of our best early game teams in Korea.
And I like that you mentioned that, the fact that it is so incredibly strong, but also they're going to be focusing on that bottom lane. So still a lot of respect given to Kingzone's bot lane and Prey and Gorilla, who have been playing very, very well so far, and that is double support bans against Gorilla. Tahm Kench still available that wouldn't offer a lot of lane presence.
And Khan basically is priced into a carry. He's priced into the Jace in this game to have enough damage as the game goes on the side of Kingzone.
They want ADD to play Sion.
It feels like Sion versus Jace is being commanded by many people, but they're going to last pick for ADD. Maybe he's got something secret ready to go. But is Zach going to be there for a bit more engage? I think Kingzone should just go for the most lane presence top. I think Jace the correct pick to be picked up in this particular game to allow them to invade on the Zach with the Sejuani and Jace having lane priority. See if Kingzone agree. Camille would also be an option. Not as fiery as the Jace.
Khan's Sion was also very good, so they can actually pick it away from ADD here.
They need damage, and this synergizes with the Galio initiation to guarantee initiation. So it's still going to be a carry, but looking for the synergy there. I would have loved to see the Jace, but I can understand the digression. Gorilla plays with heartstrings.
Do it, Gorilla. Don't be scared. Let's go. Let's fight fire with fire.
He's going to do it!
Okay, we've got Leona and Galio in the same game. The Zenith heroic entrance sounds pretty damn good to me.
Now, you say that in a team fight, that when you're hitting the right energy, and I'll be impressed with Leona for the first time in a long time from Gorilla. I have to look at the stats there to work out the last time that he played the Leona, if he's ever even played it in competitive, despite his long tenure. MVP looking for a last pick. You're able to stuff a lot of the engage from the Camille with the Poppy and its ADD. So we're back to Poppy Town.
You stuff triple engage and any exit from the Galio as well. I mean, Justice Punch gets ruined by Steadfast Presence, Zenith Blade as well, as the hook shot, as the Arctic Assault.
Been a long time on the Leona, but 8-3 in his career. Gorilla has been around so long. Bringing back the Leona is a fun one to see. Leona's in 2 series in a single day. What does it mean, Atlas?
It means Leona's being played more in the LCK, Papa Smithy.
You're really on the board with the analysis there. This is why you used to be a color caster. You
are exactly.
Always ready to expand the points.
Or state exactly what has happened that previous series.
Let's talk about the drafts here. Really fun one. Kingzone have the Galio, so we're expecting them to play around decisive mid-game plays. They can be as decisive as can be with the Hextech Ultimatum, the ultimate from Leona, the Solar Flare, and also Galio. But if the scaling does happen, you do wince a little bit. Feels like MVP in the late game have individual answers to mechanics. Hextech Ultimatum, well, there's the Poppy Ultimate. The Zac has the strong engage to complement the rest of his lineup being high on damage. Corki will scale and scale away, and Galio will not be tanky enough with the AP heavy build we're expecting to come through. And Rakan is a point of power in the early game. So while MVP bridge very well, there is also insane amounts of engage on our best early game team. Can MVP navigate around where Kingzone as a comp and as a team are strongest?
Yeah, and their front-to-back teamfight is just insanely good on the side of MVP if they can make it work. But this is Kingzone DragonX, and last time it certainly didn't work. We'll see what happens as we head to Summoner's Rift for Game 1.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
May not be as many of them, but damn, they're passionate MVP fans. In the audience,
there are the Kingzone fans, though, of which there are certainly many of them.
Oh, yes.
Even the top deck here in the Sangam OGN Esports arena. Full of fans, despite it being first place against 9th place in the ladder.
Wasn't a bad Amumu, to be honest. I was actually pretty impressed. He probably drew that, like, while he was here.
Well, beyond, of course, our only resident Amumu, apart from Caster Cloud Templar.
Yeah.
The history, the very facetious history, does show
that
MVP is equal.
Third as well,
because we're creating hype. These are what storylines and narratives are, Atlas.
But you can't lie about it. Well, I guess it's not theoretically a lie.
It's a one.
But it also is. It is, though. Like, oh.
It's such a close game of Titans.
Okay, well, we are going to have the bottom lane helping out, as Gorilla's going to tank a few of these autos from the Crimson Brambleback and wander himself back to lane. Peanut very well leashed to start this one off, and Beyond going to do The cute little wolf start that we've seen Zax do, get to level 2 and then stretch Armstrong the Gromp and the blue buff.
Now, the second part is not always 100% going to happen, because we know there's a deep vision put down by Peanut on the top side. The reason he's taking his wolves here is both for the 3-camp clear and because he will be tempted to go for the invade and potentially contest the blue buff and Gromp be taken, but sides against it. We'll just be going for the blue buff take.
Not sure how Prey threaded the needle on that Mystic shot, but certainly has his eye in here at level 1.
So what can happen here is that knowing that he's going to spend more time on the bot side, Sejuani can take the blue buff and then invade with one of his lanes, Camille or the Galio, and try to contest the enemy red. So interesting to see if that's actually attempted. There's also just the full clear on the blue side. We're thinking about next levels, but for now at least seems like a pretty passive farming style.
Yeah, and you can see ADD with that Q is able to shove this wave early on as well, so Khan isn't going to have push priority necessarily on the top side. So it does seem like Beyond will be able to grab this blue buff.
Going for the sickest power farm ever. Going through every camp on the bottom side. Yeah, no Rift Scuttles though. And BDD getting heavily harassed. He's against the Dematerializer Corki, so going to eat a lot of pain in the early game, and lane control against Dematerializer always difficult.
Khan did actually take a lot of punishment with the heroic charge coming in from ADD. Keep picking up these bucklers, it feels real good.
There have been incremental buffs to Poppy over time that mean she has higher shield duration, I believe.
And Beyond actually coming in for the level 3 gank. Khan could be in trouble here, but he misses the slingshot. Stretch Armstrong is going to get pulled back despite the flash. And see you later, Khan. That's first blood going to Beyond. It must be opposite day. I mean, opposite week. I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
And that means that Khan is misjudged. Thought he could flash away, but the first tug into the flash, heroic charge. Coming through from AD takes him down. He'll teleport back. He won't miss any minions. But that's a nice opening salvo by the side of MVP.
My goodness. Dangerous times. Of course, doesn't really mean too much, but 700 gold is now the lead for MVP when they have all of the scaling. They're giving a Zac a lead in the early game. ADD's having a great time against Khan.
Khan missed a CS too.
Khan missed a CS.
It's all over.
Definitely triggered. Tilted off the planet. We've got Corrupting Potion as well as a Cloth Armor and the shield. ADD is going to be pretty good at staying alive.
Okay, bye.
Which Poppy skin is this? Is that the really old one?
Ragdoll, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And look who's here. Beyond's back again. Not spotted yet.
Cute avoidance. Ground damage coming out from the Q from ADD. And Khan moving forward. Steadfast presence means that he can't hookshot to get himself out, but waits it out. He is going just to take a lot of damage, move himself back, and that's still good. Because this damage is probably going to stick. It's
pretty permanent. Going to at least go through all of his Corrupting Potion charges. I thought he would have got the interrupt, because if you go for the hookshot, you are in prime position to be heroic charged against the wall. He's going to allow Peanut to do some counter jungling at level 5 from the Gromp on the bot side here of the map, but the camp is on. This has been tried against Khan many times.
Yep, has that ward. See Peanut actually hanging around, wants to be able to take the Gromp.
Galio not level 6, so no hero's entrance to turn this around. So we have a heroic charge, a hero's entrance. No grand entrance, because no Rakan in the game.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, there is.
Oh, there is. My apologies. There's a lot going on.
We've got heroic charge, heroic entrance, grand entrance, and then... Oh, damn it. If only we had Grandmaster's Might or something. Isn't that Jax's ultimate?
That's Jax's ultimate.
Yeah. That no one ever says because it doesn't do anything, really, that you can see.
It thwomps very successfully.
Well, I mean,
the actual active part doesn't do much.
Yeah, it used to. I mean, that's his passive now. I don't know.
We've got a lot going on in terms of spell names here.
Yeah, it's fun. Let's see whether we can utilize it effectively as we explain what's going on. Bit of a shove coming down from Kingzone on the bottom side of the map. And Prey's going to be able to eat up that 50 gold, which feels real good.
I mean, Ian's been able to get a lot of lane control to the tune of his Cull cashing in more than half.
Yeah.
Small CS lead, but has definitely had lane control over the Galio. We're hitting that point where, awkwardly, if Galio messes up a hero's entrance play and falls further behind in lane, could be just a pretty significant cost. He's not going to be here at the top side.
Steadfast presence was a little bit too late, and ADD's going to be able to pick it up. MVP are just preying on Khan. apparently the counter to Khan is a tent.
There's nothing you can do if the hook shot is late because the steadfast presence will interrupt it from being full duration. You cannot actually use the gap close out of the AoE. So another kill onto Khan on the top side. Poppy's going to hit unkillable territory very soon. And they're profiting on Khan's just natural tendencies. And now they're doubling down. They're having Pilot and Max rotate early to try to hit this turret.
Yep, completely avoid any sort of duo lane situation and snowball out this advantage that they picked up on the top side. I actually really love this play coming out from MVP. This is how they spread that gold around, 4-man strong. No one's here to make this rotation. And first turret blood, so easy with this demolish proc that is going to be coming in.
It's a multi-layered plan. As they started this, it was as the gank was going to be in motion. By the time the death had come in, they'd rotated topside. Really nice macro play from MVP in the early game. And Kingzone, definitely a step behind the action. And with a comp you expect to be in front of the action, with the Galio being all about the global pressure in the early game.
Yeah, and it seems like Beyond doesn't actually care. I mean, they steal away the blue buff. They're going to be able to get themselves a dragon here as well on the side of Kingzone.
Do note there's a lot of ability for Kingzone to play the map. So right now we're seeing objectives traded, blue buffs traded. Remember that if a freeze is attempted by Khan, there is also Galio to try to break up if we do see an attempt at taking a second turret. So returning to where they found their strength is going to be difficult because doubling down on a lead against a global is often trickier than it first appears. So for now, Khan happy to hang back, pick up CS, lane in a safer spot for him to farm than it was previously where he was doing turret dive on the outer top lane turret. So not a disaster, but certainly good news for MVP. And also cool to see them doing new stuff, trying new things, not be overawed by their opposition.
Yeah, it feels like we've gone back to lane swap territories a few years ago now. But ADD is going to be trying to answer the 1v2 on the bottom side. Khan doing the same thing up top, but in a different position. It's ADD with the Balmy Cinder, going towards his Sunfire Cape. Don't see it a lot. Poppy, of course, a large fan of that item.
Was buffed on a few patches ago. Kind of a compensation for Bramble Vest being toned down so heavily.
Yep.
Does mean combat stats, does mean that the amount of time you spend next to her as a melee laner, it's going to be a while for Khan to hit the item timings to have anywhere near kill threat onto ADD.
And MVP have been orchestrating these back timings really, really nice. Praying Gorilla just going home. Ian just going to set up a bit of a road for the minions to go past as the taunt wants to try and grab Ian but doesn't. That's going to mean that the flash has to be used to get out of the kidnap.
But Khan continues the freeze, and while you'll complement the back timing around what it gets Pilot and Max, visibly ADD had to teleport back to base late, and he's going to continue to fall down and farm because there's nowhere actually for him to farm safely on the Rift.
Yeah, it's one of those problems with the lane swap situation that we used to talk about absolutely every single game.
Because it wasn't a swap, right? It was a turret for free, ostensibly, but to the cost of Poppy. Because right now there's no short lane or even long lane for her to actually pick up farm that doesn't have a global in it.
Peanut slowly has been able to get himself pretty far ahead as far as farm is concerned, despite the fact that he just face-checked Beyond and didn't do so well.
Plan here for MVP is either to play bot side or try to double down on the mid lane and make Galio accountable so he can't actually Hero's entrance to help turn the fight topside. Still the freeze being attempted by Khan to get into relevance in the game. MVP don't want to play around that lane, they're trying to play elsewhere.
They're not able to get some defensive vision in here, but this is not the position that Kingzone were expecting to get themselves into this game. You're going to have to turn something around very soon. It's not necessarily a composition that is going to thrive completely in the laning phase necessarily, but you can get to these early skirmishes around the 15-minute mark, something like that, around a dragon, and really catch out MVP using all of these globals and all this initiation that they have. That's sort of where Kingzone are going to be able to get ahead. So if they can utilize it, certainly still could be ways back in.
They're going to opt into a bit of scaling themselves. Right of ages the pickup from BDD. Always disagreement on which way to go in terms of the items. Peanut's coming topside, and as you say, is free farms. That's why we see the big attempt onto ADD.
Yeah,
flash over the ult.
Yeah, not going to get judged that time. As we've got a solar flare landing on the bottom side, but it's only going to get the slows. Teleport, I believe, was cancelled.
It was.
From Max on the bottom side, which is why the solar flare did come in.
But they couldn't actually keep chasing on to Poppy, so Khan uses his flash and ultimate for no gain, all things considered, and ADD walks away unscathed. So a lot happens, but someone to trade advantage. Bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be the battle dance into the heroic, the grand entrance, sorry. Max gets out again. Prey's going to be okay and just continues to farm this one through. Beyond, he's going to turn up.
A lot of people showing up here.
Yeah, he has to be really, really careful. Teleport. Going to come in, and Beyond uses the flash. Heroic entrance onto Gorilla, but the kidnap just brings them out of the way, and no more AD carry to get the work done. Peanut turns up. Beyond will get taken down to the Bloblets. That's still not going to be a kill. Kingzone, they lose one, and MVP lose nothing.
And again, the only gain for the side of Khan is that with teleport down, he will continue to play on the top side. MVP trying to increase the pace of the game. Demolish Proc comes in, a second turret goes down. MVP are being decisive on getting early leads, even though they have the scaling comp. Trinity Force already complete on the Corki. They continue to trade up, and now the gold lead reads almost 3,000.
Yeah, this is starting to get to real lead territory now, Papa. Very scary given the nature of the composition out of MVP. We know that Poppy is incredible as you move towards the later stages of the game. Lockdown is almost second to none. And Beyond's on the Zac. Actually looked like an early game jungler this game.
The solace for the side of Kingzone is that mid lane has gone a scaling build. Top lane finally has items, so you can see the lane is no longer just ADD's playground when he doesn't have a Zac in his pocket. And as the late game goes on, because they have the guarantee of the Hextech ultimatum into the hero's entrance, theoretically someone has to die from the side of MP. Corki is probably going to be the target there, no Featherstorm to act around those cooldowns. So they can afford to play some scaling, and Khan getting relevance. This is not the game plan they wanted, but this is the game plan they could evolve to take, is one where Khan gets some free farm. Khan doesn't fall hilariously behind on the Camille, and if the Camille hits her item timings relatively on point, maybe there still is mid to late game options. They're not pigeonholed into just early game or AFK with the Galio.
Yeah, but if they play MVP's game, especially with how they've been playing it so far, fighting front to back versus this team is going to be very, very difficult. So Kingzone...
Well, I mean, you just all go in the back because you have Galio, you got the hero's entrance, you have the Hextech ultimatum. They can have a lot of threat to the backline if Galio and Camille are in threat range of killing outright Ian, which is a very big possibility in the mid game.
Well, see whether they can get it done. Beyond gonna help Ian out as the Infernal Drake is going to be MVP's option. Second spawn feeling real good as we continue on the Infernal Drake train. Made a few of them today. Another package done for Ian. You can see Kingzone actually playing quite far back in the mid lane. Top lane Khan is able to now demand some respect. Peanut has been stealing all of Beyond's jungle as Beyond's been going around killing every member of Kingzone.
I mean, he's super fond, at least, you can say for Peanut, and he's jungling intelligently. He's jungling top side now because Khan has lots of presence, has Trinity Force on his next back. So I like what Peanut is trying to do, and he's snuck in a very deep set of wards to make the Zac accountable. It's not many wards. There's not many two-ward combinations that allow you to know whether Zac's coming over a wall or not, as I'm just thinking about the fact that in the future patch on 8.4 with no Tracker's Knife, Zac's going to be even more unseen than he was before.
I know, is Fiddlesticks going to make a comeback? Because Fiddlesticks will be unseen as well, you know? You can get Crowstorms to actually work. No? Damn it. Maybe one day.
I tried it in solo queue, and I apologize to my team.
told me that Fiddlesticks top was a thing, and he beat Faker with it in solo queue.
Was he smiling at the time?
He was being very serious. He was actually not smiling. He was trying to prove himself to me. He knew that I'd tell him that that's definitely not true.
I wonder what percentage of our Twitch chat know who Matt Moon is.
Well, I mean, he recently played in a tournament earlier this year, but I'm not sure very many of us actually watched.
It's been a long time since he was in the LCK.
Yeah.
Sadly, one of the early legends here in Korea. Kingzone have slowed down the game. Trinity Force is on the Camille. Timers aren't reading the correct time as pick and ban suggested, but still, Kingzone have stabilized largely, and let's see if MVP can actually make the next play, which is breaking mid lane out of turret.
Yeah, a bit of extra time now given to Kingzone as well, because our Pilot opted in for that QSS for his second item. Didn't want to get altered by Peanut. We respect based on the amount of farm that he has, and also Gorilla, if he lands that Solar Flare, it could be a real tough time. And when you've got multiple CC, you need multiple ways to get out of it, and the Featherstorm not going to quite be enough.
Bot side.
Yep, ADD in trouble. Gorilla's going to turn up as the Solar Flare just goes incredibly wide, and ADD flashes his way out.
He really wants
actually
this.
going to follow. BDD may need to turn up.
Nice.
Fantastic timing with the ultimatum. BDD, he's going to come in, not even going to get an assist as they manage to lock up the kill. First one here for Kingzone and MVP. Going to be able to grab themselves.
And they're walking up to contest the Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, Shelly's actually going to try and look for a target, and it looks like Kingzone might be able to get themselves in here.
It hasn't fully reset either. The patience bar is low.
Yep, that's going to be taken. And in goes Beyond, wants to find the kidnap, and they actually thought about it. Just staying in there. The Blowlet's going to come out. Now MVP trying to fight. Grand Entrance comes in. Quickness going to be utilized, but Max is going to get stunned up. Prey jumping forward as Pilot just doesn't do enough damage. Heroic Entrance. It's going to come down the edge of the knock-up onto Max. And he's going to be cleaned up in this one as well. Finally, the kills are going to be equalized in Kingzone. They've come online at 17 minutes.
They turn around the game with a great bit of mechanics coming through from Khan, using the ultimatum untarget ability to dodge the ultimate from Poppy. They also pick up the Rift Herald. The fight was very surreal because for once we saw Zach actually prime the kidnap, but not want to kidnap the Galio into the backline. That's why he didn't use the Let's Bounce to get BDD into the backline. Right now, we have a pause, so no replay. Bit of time to calm down, and we'll have to wait for Andy to give us the insight into what's happening here.
Yeah, hopefully Andy can let us know what's going on. Like Beyond is having a bit of an issue. Hopefully it wasn't the fact that the Let's Bounce didn't actually do anything after he charged it. Did notice that looked a little bit strange, but we'll see what actually happens here as we get some news.
You don't have to kidnap instantly, so I assumed it was just him, you know, holding on to the ability, but we'll wait and see if there's a game issue that we have to talk about.
It was a very confusing little interaction. Looked like BDD actually wanted to stay in the kidnap.
Oh, he did.
So he was
like,
planning on getting
I have a W ready to go.
Take me with you. Wait, maybe because it's...
So apparently it is related to the Zach ult, so I guess we'll have to do some inspection there. So a game issue around the Zach ultimate.
Atlas called it. Look at that. Actually figuring something out before it has to be stated.
Oh, you'll do a bonus then, Atlas. Good job.
Thank you, my friend. Can you maybe buy me a chip later?
No.
Damn it.
I know you're on a diet, Atlas. I don't want to buy you any chips.
I just wanted one.
I'll buy you a health smoothie.
What does a carbohydrate taste like?
Would you like a health smoothie?
Yeah, I'd love a health smoothie. That sounds brilliant. Does it have kale in it?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
As green as possible.
Oh, wait. Speaking of which, have you had an avocado smoothie before?
I have. They're delicious.
Oh, so good.
Of
course you have.
$800,000
You
in
showed
Australia.
me where to get one.
I can't afford them. We're getting the information that it did seem like Zach's ultimate was attempted to be used, but wasn't available. So about halfway through, it didn't actually get the full distance. So that's a problem.
Yeah, it was very confusing. Maybe it was due to the fact that he was trying to jump over terrain. He wasn't right into the wall. It could have been the problem. But, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to issues like this.
And it was a big turnaround point in the game, as that passage of play was the first good one for Kingzone after the top lane camp on Tucan had really slowed them down.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation if you're MVP. Imagine if you were offered a remake at this stage
based
on the bug.
We've had scenarios like that. I'm still not sure. I guess I should ask Riot what the status is of Chrono Break, whether it's available in the LCK.
I'm not sure whether it's available
From
here
what
either.
I know, we've never had a true Chrono Break here, which maybe this means we've been lucky, but regardless, trying to wait on future information here. Well, I think we're going to see a replay of what happened. So Beyond went in. That part made sense. He ults.
And he was inside a wall.
Now, he doesn't have to ult. It could be that was buggy involving the wall, you're right. But then, of course, ended up going to Bloblets and dying. So that was very map impacting.
I don't think he was using any Hexaflash shenanigans either. You've seen a few of those videos. Could have actually changed things up, but it'd be worth checking.
Well, that's been hot fixed on live. Unsure about that. We don't want to speculate too much, guys. We're only just trying to deconstruct what happened. But you can understand that did not seem like all was normal in that interaction.
Did look physically accurate, because I don't know how you're supposed to jump when you're actually underneath a rock.
It's true.
Yeah, that would make it more difficult.
We're all about the lore and the physical accuracy of Summoner's Rift here.
I just don't want you to ruin my immersion.
How much immersion would you say you have?
So much
Rate it
immersion.
out of 8.
I was about as immersed as Beyond was in that rock. And the river at the same time.
Looking at Peanut now. Had a interesting game. He's been very ambition-esque in this game, farming in the early game.
He's been playing PvE.
He's kind of watching Peanut from the position of ambition usually, where he's like making the ganks and ambition's like, I don't know, I'm getting extra camps over here.
Yeah, but I got you Gromp. Man.
This idiot didn't even take his Raptors. Like, whatever.
You may have killed my top laner 3 times, but I've killed your Gromp 3 times. Come at me. And most of the wolves.
The next evolution of Peanut that nobody wanted.
The ambition Peanut. Oh, dear.
Well, Beyond definitely doesn't look chuffed at this cruel turn of fate.
Yeah.
Still waiting for any information as to whether this will provoke any sort of change in the game state. We're hoping no. We're hoping to get right back into this game, but if it was game-breaking, then I imagine we may have to have a remake or something along those lines, Atlas.
Yeah, I have a feeling that that's an eventuality that's possible, but I just don't know whether MVP can orchestrate an early game that's gone as well as this, despite the fact that they did just lose that fight.
I imagine if it's a full remake, then there'll be new picks and bans, so perhaps they have a new plan, but then already Game 2 of the series would represent Game 3, and the third set is we didn't get information, so
hey
we'll
guys.
just wave. We'll make sure that you guys can see
I
my
mean,
silk suit.
what if we had taken our jackets off or something like
That
that?
would have been unacceptable.
Completely ridiculous.
Now, thankfully, we are above the waist, so...
Yeah. I mean, we never wear pants.
No.
Obviously.
Of course not.
Wear pants. You can't... Didn't even need half of my shirt, to be honest. Like, what have I done?
Hey, you got to cut the budget where you cut the budget.
This is a whole tie, so like, this doesn't need to be.
No.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're in the dark like you guys are as to what's going to happen from here. We can just talk a bit of fluff while we're waiting for the game to get going again.
We can. I mean, we can also talk about, the compositions because I do really like what MVP managed to do with a comp that shouldn't have been able to do it. They've still got to get over the line with their Xayah, pick up those 3 items that we talk about all the time, but otherwise... I mean, Beyond was playing absolutely fantastically. It's really sad that we've got Beyond, who we were asking so many questions about at the beginning of the season on that 10-game losing streak. Like, Beyond, where is he gone? Is he, like, it's a bit...
We knew where he was physically, but his ability level that on first visit, summer 2016, he looked outstanding.
Yeah.
So we were expecting great things
Slightly
for him.
up and down.
2017 wasn't a great year for Beyond.
It's a little bit upsetting, though, because Peanut was... the one that made the Zac look like he's capable of being an early game jungler.
Sure.
And Beyond's gone, well, this is what you did. I'm going to do it to your team. And Khan, a point of power for Kingzone, was capitalized on. Like, it was just beautiful strategic play. Then the lane swap comes in, and, man, MVP just had this plan, and it worked. Now, even if you're offered a remake, do you take it? Because can you actually do that again? I don't think so.
In 2 series in a row, we've seen Khan attacked. The Jace, of course, was ganked. Still to the victory of Kingzone, and this sort of game where, given what we just saw with the Rift Herald going over, if we resumed as is, it seems like Kingzone will be in a position to have a really strong 5 to 10 minutes before damage concerns with the Galio started to become a thing. So the game was starting to warp. I agree we have to reward Beyond and ADD do so well around the top side. We're getting a bit more information here now. It sounds like both teams are really looking closely at the review of the tape to see.
Yeah, both of the coaches are actually going to be checking it out themselves, and we're going to have confirmation as to what is the agreement in the end, whether or not it was game-breaking. Remember, we are still in a very tense game. Like, it's extremely even at the moment. MVP probably got the best start that they could have asked for, and you can understand why they're upset now, giving a little bit back towards Kingzone, because you don't want to give anything when something like this isn't necessarily expected.
And it's a cool twist of fate, right? Because we knew they came in big underdogs, 9th versus 1st, I believe, on the ladder. The early game went way better than expected, and theoretically, 1 less death there. The Rift Herald would have gone the way of Kingzone, but Zac living in that scenario, then things are even more even. So it did feel like momentum was just about to shift to the way of Kingzone, and now we're trying to pick up the pieces of where the game is at.
Yeah, and it'd just be really unfortunate if that was going to be the moment that marks a turnaround and there's still going to be a question mark. So hopefully the coaches come back with some definitive answers for us and see exactly what is going to happen, because...
Oh, good news.
We're going to chrono break.
We
We're
are.
do it.
Echo's here.
Oh, the dream. We thought that it wasn't possible, and we found out that it was. So this is going to be pretty confusing for the players, and especially a little bit upsetting for Kingzone as well, given the fact that they just were handed a team fight victory on a silver platter. But if Beyond's ultimate had have worked correctly, then I have a feeling that it would have been a different scenario.
And how far back do we rewind? That's kind of what's going to be interesting here.
I don't know.
Tense stuff. getting back into the game. We don't have a full remake.
Do we get to watch it rewind?
No,
that would be
that's
so
not how
cool.
it works.
Wouldn't it be like an 80s TV show or something like that, and they'd actually have the audio? And be like,
no, they play the yakety sax music.
It'd be really good if they just played our commentary backwards.
Yay!
Man, what would that even sound like?
But then all the secret things that we embedded in our commentary for the reverse read, the B-side of the tape would come out. I don't know if they're all broadcast acceptable, Max.
Oh, man, we are such old people.
I know.
I was about to bring up the Beatles record.
Yeah!
Oh, my God.
The Beatles, they're new, right? They're still top of the pops.
Yeah, definitely top of the pops.
Yeah.
Top of the pops. Oh, man. It's really gotten to the point where I'm like...
Who's top of the music charts these days, Max?
I don't know. All them kids was talking
Is that
about the
Bieber
Veronicas
boy still there?
back a few years
Justin
back.
is his name?
Justin Biebos?
Yes.
Justin Timberbeebs?
Yes, Timbers. Shiver me Timbers. He's still there?
Yeah, I think so. Huh. Yeah,
Nice.
he's absolutely fantastic. He used to be on NSYNC, didn't he?
He was.
NSYNC.
But he's still top of the pops.
Top of the pops. Oh, it reminds me of those So Fresh CDs. You remember those?
Yes!
Oh, so good.
And all the Now CDs where before you could just download every track, you had to wait for the end of the year for the sick best 16 songs of the year.
And you're like, oh, I could never find that CD of that song that was extraordinarily popular like 2 months ago, but like the CD's just gone for some reason.
The cassette tape just out of order.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, when
Man, media's gone a long way. I bought some cassette tapes when I was young.
I thought you were going to say recently. I'm like,
no.
Obsolete media for Papa Smithy. I like it.
That's the only hipster one I don't think cassette tapes are hipster yet. It feels like it's still the records, still the big thing.
Oh, yeah, but that's got the natural music, you know, the acoustics feel better. It just feels more alive. Makes music feel alive, Papa Smithy.
You said that with a real deadpan face. This makes it more alive.
Makes it more alive. Hang on. Yeah, I should have been more alive when I said it. Okay, I got to work on communication.
You do.
Papa Smithy.
Communication's not your strong
It's not part of my job, so it's okay. We'll figure that one out eventually.
I believe we're in the process of corner breaking. Echo does it pretty fast. So
yeah, I was going to say, I was expecting like, what, a 4-second delay or something
Maybe
like
it's
that?
like the actual original Echo tease where it seemed like Corner Break was like actually turning the world back in time rather than just Echo state in terms of health bar.
Yeah, that's true. A little bit more Prince of Persia-esque.
Yes!
Yeah, maybe we'll actually just keep talking forever.
Maybe.
But there's like a different dimension
where this pause didn't happen.
This pause didn't happen, and we're actually just
Should we wave to those people?
Yeah, I don't actually know what happens now. We just like, do we give up?
No, what we do is
other dimension selves.
We have to wave to them to signify that they can begin their transmission. So wave to the alternate Papa Smithian Atlas. Come on, a bit more assertive than that. Big smile.
You can go. It's go time. Chrono break.
We didn't agree on the code word.
Oh, damn it. I thought it was the obvious one. Like the code word that had literally already been made up.
No. No.
Oh, dear.
We're still here. We're still on screen.
We are still on screen. And we just got confirmation. We got confirmation. We're like having our finishing thoughts and our vision.
No, you got beta. I know that Chrono Break is not just a button that you press. It's not just an echo. It takes a while.
I thought it was the R button.
No.
That's the one that I always used.
Well, we're stuck here with you guys, the OGN Legion, waiting for this game to get back. We still want to know how far we're Chrono Breaking back.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually want to know whether it's going to be detrimental to Kingzone
you would
enough for
imagine
that MVP to be able to continue on, because also there's the mental factor that comes in with a change like this, because momentum had just shifted and now it's all awkward, and your Kingzone sitting there going, we can't make the same plays that we were going to make before because MVP is going to be expecting it, but then also maybe we have to make the same plays again because they wouldn't expect us to make it. It's all of the mind games that are going to eventuate after that.
When does the passage of play start that's being chrono breaked? Because the passage of play started from the kill bot lane, or I guess more towards the red buff, into contesting the Rift Herald.
Exactly.
Already started
is
by
ADD
MVP.
going to be alive in the chrono broken version of the situation? I don't know.
We don't have that information. Maybe our alternate selves have that information. We're going to get a replay again. I got baited. I thought we were back in game. We are not.
All right, get in there, Beyond. Oh, no. Headbutt at the wall.
Whoa. There's a lot happening in this one.
Oh, the squelching sound really would have been nice if that one had have stopped.
It's even better when you know the story of how they came up with the sounds.
Oh, my goodness. There was a lot of really weird stuff that happened.
That's true.
In this moment.
And then Gumby died.
Poor Gumby.
They have no idea who Gumby is, by the way. Unless it's been a 3D Gumby remake.
Oh, man, they need to make a Pokey Hecarim skin.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pokey was Gumby's
horse.
horse.
The horse thing.
Yeah.
That's too deep.
That would be the best.
Can we chrono break to before you made that reference?
We're about to. That's why I'm getting
What does it
out
look
all the
like when we
terrible
chrono
stuff.
break in real life, though?
Nothing like Pokey.
No.
It's just real sad. He was just an orange horse, guys. He was great, though. Claymation, man.
Good times.
Yeah, real good
But gone.
times.
Gone now.
What was your favorite Claymation show, Pop Smithy?
The Trapdoor. What a great show that was.
Good, man, you had that on hand.
I did.
Boom.
That was my Facebook profile pic for a long time. I love the Trapdoor. It's a great show with Bert.
It's so adorable. Bert. Oh, my God. Brilliant.
What good times.
Yeah. In fact, the intro was really... Do you remember Count
Yes,
Duckula?
the intro was so good.
It was
and they were
also
similar.
so similar to that one. And I was, like, happy no matter what. I'd, like, turn on the TV and you had no idea what,
was
what was actually going to be there. You'd be like, oh, it's Trapdoor this time. No.
But if you heard it around the corner, would you run equally for both shows?
Yes.
Nice.
Maybe even a little bit more for Count Duckula.
Oh, they were both really
I liked
good.
vampires and I liked ducks. So
there you go.
It was a great
It was
combo.
a natural.
Yeah. My uncle had a pet
synergistic
duck,
thing.
actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the name of his pet duck?
Neutron.
Oh, that's a pretty on the nose.
He was
name.
pretty neutral. Yeah. It's just a duck. Yeah. But it just meant that I had never actually ate duck for the first, like, 25
Really? You
years
missed
of
it.
my life. Didn't have duck.
Let's do the replay from another angle.
Different angle.
This is the reverse angle. Look at Max. We can see him clearly.
Beyond how far do you get into the wall from this side? Actually, not far at all. Hang on, there he is.
Whoa. Everything's happening.
It's a big
Look at
gooey
Galio.
under that
He
rock.
seems very like.
He's super psyched about being in the kidnap.
He definitely wanted to be kidnapped by them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then he got bounced backwards. And then what happened there? The ghost of Zac was in the wall. That was some Ghostbuster stuff.
There was some weird stuff going on. Do you know what actually happened, though? Have you played that? There's a game that you used to play as kids in the swimming pool where one person would go under the water and the other person would stand on their shoulders and you'd launch them out of the water.
Yeah.
That's actually what Zac was doing to Galio.
He was ghostly white. If you ever look like Zac did in that clip, go to a doctor or a mortician, whichever one.
Or just go outside a bit more because...
Need more pigment.
Yeah, you just need some vitamin D. Because the deficiency might be there. And we were just talking about vampire ducks.
That's my
like
pet name for Deficio, actually, by the way.
Deficiency.
No,
What?
vitamin D.
Both of them are actually nicknames.
This pause has been going a long
This
time.
has been going for a
This chrono
really
break
long
needs to
time.
be faster.
I know.
We have the technology.
No, I seriously think that we've just left our other dimension selves behind, man. Like we're off and we ain't stopping. We've need a lot more material than this. What is it, like 9 o'clock? Could be here for like at least another 7
we read
hours.
that in the script this was happening. You think we would have prepared more.
Yeah.
All I have is these
All we
dumb
prepared was the
KDA charts and
trapdoor
stuff.
thing.
This is not actually jokes.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have any scripted jokes you wrote down for this moment?
Scripted jokes.
Don't look at that KDA. It's not that funny.
Yeah, no. Oh, no. Here, I've got one. BBQ was perfect gamed by MVP. That was my only scripted joke that I had, and that was actually a point that was correct.
Yeah.
But I mean,
happened.
that happened. So, and actually now it's a little bit depressing and not actually all that funny.
You killed the mood, Atlas.
Sorry, Pop Smithy. Sorry, man. What can we talk? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we're so in the dark.
How far are we away from showing our socks and Hangman? That's the question. Achilles, if he's in chat, he could let us know.
Yeah, is there a time limit on it, Achilles? You could just let us know.
No, we don't have chat open either. Maybe we can open it up. We got time.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
How we doing, guys? No,
How's Twitch chat doing?
pretty Monka-S at the moment.
They are?
Yeah. Extraordinarily.
Where do you land on Monka S versus Monkas? Because Monkas sounds like a thing, but I'm told it's Monka S.
I like Monka-S more.
Why?
For some reason. I don't know why. It just feels better because the S is capitalized and it reminds me that it's capitalized and I don't look like an idiot just saying Monkas.
So what is Twitch chat saying now that we've mentioned Monkas out loud?
Oh my god. There aren't a lot of them left. Let me say that.
Can we replenish them before they run out?
Oh no, I don't think so. Well, actually,
Wait,
we might have time.
No, you know who can? Alternate Atlas and Papa Smithy.
Oh yeah.
Shall we?
Our other dimensional selves.
Shall we send them the Monkas signal? You know how to do it, Atlas.
I
On
don't know
three.
I don't know how to do it.
Just look like Monkas does.
Oh, okay.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think they've got plenty of Monkers.
Okay, we've got plenty.
We're good. We're good. We're ready to roll.
Refilled the Monkers.
We're ready to go.
I think
they seem to be fine. They're using them, so the button's still working. That's good to know. Good to know.
We fixed it. We managed to sort it out.
We'd love to fix the video game.
We really would. When was the last time this has happened in the LCK? I don't think there's been like an actual
epic pause.
Epic pause.
Not this year.
For like a game reason, for a long time. I mean, we've had all sorts of audio issues and toilet issues and blah, 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 blah.
We have had many issues. Chair issues, multiple times.
We've had some issues. There's been some issues.
There has been.
But there hasn't been, game issues for a really long time. So this is actually, it's cool. This is a game that does get pushed to its limit. So Zach getting stuck in a wall, certainly a cool one. We had, the last time I remember was that someone got spat out into a wall.
Yes,
from a
but that was much shorter.
But that was just a tiny pause, and then it got,
That was where I just said out loud, just devour him again, and it turned out to be the right solution. So this one was obviously a lot more technical, even though we saw the spirit of Zach in a wall, which was very scary.
That was very frightening. And then we went on to talk about the trapdoor, which was a very scary show as well. But there was a bit frightening. I mean, it was actually a dude that was pretty much a slave, trying to make the most of his clay life.
I mean, it was trying to be wholesome, but
it was. It was.
So what was your childhood cartoon? Because I think a lot of our viewers are kind of age out of our demographic. They miss out on. Speaking personally, I loved New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Really big fan of Winnie the Pooh. He was a man I could understand, a bear I could understand.
I absolutely loved The Animals of Farthingwood.
That was a supremely depressing show.
It was supremely depressing, but it was.
They shouldn't have allowed children to watch that show.
But
the main characters died all the time.
Feelings. Oh man, just knowing that you had to value your friendships, the fact that badgers are really wise.
Well, we wanted to show you that the players are still in the booths, drinking their liquids. I know a lot of people ask what the clearly not water liquid is. It's usually barley tea or
barley tea.
Some form of tea. Very popular over here in Korea.
It's delicious. Good for your throat as well. We should probably have it.
We don't have time. We don't actually have breaks in the LCK, so we have to talk every moment.
Every moment of every time ever. You can see Khan and Peanut just wanting to get back on Summoner's Rift. Or do they? I'm not entirely sure. Khan looks like he's still just fine.
I mean, he just got his kill, or his kill involvement. He finally killed that darn Poppy.
Yep.
So he's probably feeling pretty good.
Got his revenge.
All right.
17 minutes and 5 seconds.
Now, that's very out of context, but it is very specific. All right, so Zach will be threatening a jump, but theoretically the enemy team will know that he's there to jump.
Okay, because I actually forgot what time we were in the game, so you're right, absolutely no context. But that does mean that the kill on ADD went through and the engage beginning
and the Rift Herald is probably picked up already.
Yeah.
And then Zach will not suicide, theoretically. Or maybe he will.
It's true. That's an interesting point to jump into, and I actually like it because Kingzone then still get rewarded for something that wasn't actually affected by the particular issue that happened.
I'm just happy I don't have to decide what the exact timer we restart on is, because every second either way is advantaging someone or disadvantaging someone.
Yeah.
We get to be thoroughly unbiased, except biased for the game to start again.
I am biased towards League of Legends at this point. And probably talking about Trapdoor some more. I mean, I really liked that show. We could also discuss more on Animals of Farthingwood, but I guess that's...
Oh, it's so depressing. Even though we got the confirmation, we are still in the dark as to exactly when.
Well, now we have to actually chrono break it. So what was happening while we were just on screen knowing that a chrono break was going to happen, that was everyone deciding when we were going to actually go to, and now we need to actually do it.
Then in my head, chrono break is like those movies where it takes 500 hours and many different camera cuts for a file to download.
Or for a bomb to explode as well. It's like you're defusing the bomb and it's like on 7 seconds for 25 minutes of the movie. Yeah, I have that feeling as well.
And definitely we have to go Born Automated style, so it's many different camera angles.
Oh, and the camera, each camera itself is like shaking around the room as well. Why don't we do shaky cam here on LCK? We are like the most opposite of Born Ultimatum that you can possibly get. Because like that is the steadiest cam. That does not move even a little bit. The one that we're on, of course, guys. And I mean, this one, we got beautiful panning shots, checking out the players, the things you actually want to see. We got cameras for days, but our particular shot, very static.
And you have to feel for the players as well, because the players are just bystanders, and a lot of the time you're not allowed to speak, and then maybe you're allowed to speak for a bit of it, but the mental conditioning here is something you always have to speak of, because it's a long break.
And then who
out
does
of the
it?
game.
It's interesting because we've got a lot of veterans on these teams.
Sure.
And we've got a lot of sort of newer players as well. And does it benefit you more to be a veteran, to have been in situations like these before, or does it help to be a little bit younger, to have a little bit more of that that mental fortitude, the fact that you're young?
Do you think that younger people have more mental fortitude?
Well, not mental fortitude, but physical fortitude. You're not getting as tired.
I mean, these guys are all in the prime of their lives. They're all 25 or younger, so I don't think that's going to be a big factor. To me, veteran status is really important, because if you're anxious and there's a 30-minute pause, or if you're feeding and there's a 30-minute pause, that's the part where it really does eat at you, because you're like, I'm still guilty. I still led to everything that happened before the break. So I think picking up a kill, or a kill involvement, a good passage of play, then the break, really spared any kind of mental heartache there for him.
Yeah, and I mean, ADD might actually have been in the death chamber for this entire time.
That's true. That's a long death timer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We should probably corner break that death time. It's too long.
We should probably fix
it.
He might be in a different dimension, and he's okay, though. So remember.
I mean, if any top laner in the LCK has lived in a different dimension for the last 2 years and played Scion in and out of meta, it is definitely ADD.
Yeah, I'm really glad that ADD is in this league, by the way, because it makes me feel so at home after coming from the LPL. There needs to be a filthy Scion picker in every single league. I just think there needs to be.
Filthy Scion picker is such an old meme.
Oh, yeah.
It comes back all the way to Skara calling Pobelta a dirty AP Scion picker in preseason 1 on the solo queue ladder when Pobelta was rank 1.
And
so
back
long
when
ago.
Scion was nothing like he is now.
And
when
Pobelta was 13 years of age.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
Back when Scion actually spat at you and it stunned you for 1,000,000 seconds and you died.
That amazing core build of boots of mobility, 2 Dorans and a Sheen.
3 Dorans.
Oh, I mean, 2 was fine too. Got the Mobies faster.
Oh, the Mobies, triple Dorans, Lichbane.
We don't have budget Rod of Ages anymore.
We don't, and it's probably a good thing.
That's true.
I mean, that particular build was like why TSM were great back in the day with Reginald in the mid lane.
Oh, what are you saying about Reginald in the mid lane?
Nothing. He was just a fantastic Scion player. That's all I wanted to bring up. And then you got, back in the LPL as well, Aluka, the amazing Scion picker himself, since retired from LPL greatness on Team WE.
And then, of course, WE had a mid laner previously who was a dirty AP Scion picker in Season 3 that was good on Messiah in their famous Volibear Scion comp.
Oh, man.
The
Going
flip comp.
back in time.
Oh, beautiful.
The flip comp.
It got banned, chain banned against them until OMG worked out how to play against it, and they smashed them.
Yeah.
It was very sad. But there were a lot of Volibear and Scion bans in Season 3, which wasn't that long ago. That was very funny.
That's true.
I know.
Man, I love Volibear. He's going to make his way back in, isn't he? He's feeling good now.
He seems pretty good on 8.4.
The stoppy dash.
The what you saw?
Stopping the dashes.
Oh, the stoppy dash.
Yeah, the stoppy dash.
Can you pronounce it correctly, please?
I said it the first time, I think, Papa. Just make fun of me.
We just want to roll onto the game, but the chrono break system.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to go back that far. I feel like there's a really great Doc reference here from Back to the Future, and I'm not confident.
No,
that
I'm not as well versed in. I remember I tried to make a Back to the Future reference. I think I accidentally made a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Oh, really?
Over 9,000.
Yeah, that's definitely a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, you have to offer your shortcomings. We all stuff up sometimes.
We should just chrono break this conversation.
We should.
Yeah, and then
all the way back to the start, and then the game works somehow.
Oh my God!
How are alternate reality going on?
We are now executing the chrono break. By the way, guys, had a little bit of an update, but yeah, sorry.
How
continue.
is alternate reality Papa Smithy and Atlas handling this pause? Do you think?
Oh, hang on. Let me just check my ultimate reality watch.
You got an alternate reality watch?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even have a watch.
My sister bought it for me for my birthday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was there a deal or something?
I think she got it on sale at like a thrift shop, something like that. I don't know. Someone just didn't really like their alternate reality very much. They just got rid of it.
Wow.
But our alternate reality sales are actually doing really well.
Nice.
We actually got some BBQ chicken.
Nice.
Matt, alternate reality Max isn't very good at sticking to his diet plans. He just sucks at that. Oh,
we missed out on chicken today, by the way, guys. I know Twitch chat is very invested in our continuing adventures to find BBQ chicken.
Yep.
We didn't get any.
The fans did, though, so there was chicken in the venue. So just, if you were here enjoying this in-house experience... Do you think we should reveal to the fans why we don't get BBQ chicken nowadays? It's because the chicken actually comes very close to 5 p.m., so the start time while we're on screen, kind of like this, talking about what's going to happen.
And literally the only way would be to wait to the first break, walk through all the fans to steal the fans' chicken, which is, you know, it's a couple too many steps of self-worth questioning away to actually get the free chicken.
It's like you have to walk all the way through all your self-loading.
That's like double shame.
And I can't do it. It's like the target's too thick, and I'm like trying.
You know the famous clip with Cersei Lannister? That's what it feels like if you try to get the chicken. Shame, shame.
Oh, no.
So we don't get chicken.
We don't get it anymore. But we did actually do it the first couple of weeks. Because it was so good when it had novelty factor.
It did.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Remember the days before this pause? I don't. Actually, this has been my whole life now.
Do you remember how long the series was before this pause?
No.
No, like, there was a series before this, Papa. It was called BBQ versus Jin Air Green Wings. And it was a 2-0, and it went for forever.
How long
we
was
actually
forever,
started
roughly?
the show a little bit late, even though it wasn't a 3-game series. Isn't that amazing?
That is very generic.
Yeah.
And people out there, you know, people get really mad about Jin Air. They're like, why do I waste my time watching this? And that's a fair point. You know, they are very long games. And they might think that we don't like Jin Air. But, like, I remember the last time Jin Air was in relegation, and I was worried there'd be a future where we didn't have Jin Air.
No, you need Jin Air.
You need Jin Air. It brings balance to the force.
Exactly.
You know? You need Jin Air to exist to understand all that is sweet and good in the world. And even sometimes they're playing the sweet and good, and then you kind of feel nostalgic for the 90-minute games.
Yeah, the only reason you understand what good is because you can reference it to what bad is, guys. Like, points of reference are extraordinarily important in life.
And also we would lose the oldest vintage meme we have in Glad Plane and Sad Plane.
And, like, Teddy
I did
Plane
research
came
on
back.
the Glad Plane, by the way, because I know it's been around a long time, was followed by Caster's previous Monty and Doa, big proponents of it. I found out that actually Glad Plane was submitted to Monty exactly at the start of the first game that Jin Air ever played. The Glad Plane was submitted after their first series ever. So it has actually spanned the entire history of Jin Air in League of Legends.
That's amazing. Of course, Jin Air have been an org in esports for an extremely long time. So thankfully, it was our meme to start off with. That's cool. I would have thought that the meme would have actually originated in StarCraft.
League of Legends exclusive.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Look at us, the meme lords ourselves. I mean, I guess we did Monka S to the camera.
Wait, was that us or alternate us? Can you check your watch again?
We're still eating chicken. We are really into that chicken. If you guys have the opportunity to get some, make sure you go and get some.
Again, there should be, from what I understand, and follow Fiona on Fire on Twitter, from what I understand, there is delivery in North America of BBQ chicken. So apparently obtainable
can be
in
a
certain
BBQ chicken
states.
person too, yes. We did get some confirmation, by the way. We were about a minute ago or something like that. We were up to 97% on the Chrono
is
Break.
it like those loading screens that go to 97% and then take much longer to get the last 3 seconds?
And if this is like the cooldown of Chrono Break coming back up, are we going to wait for it to like really line up to the right thing? And
what happens if we have to Chrono Break the Chrono Break? What if Echo's in the game and we need to Chrono Break?
I don't know. Maybe I'll need to hook my watch up to the thing.
Wait, does that one have? Is that the Bluetooth model or just the cable?
Oh
one?
no. This is like it's pretty analog. The analog dimensional.
An analog
bridge
augmented
watch.
reality watch.
Yeah. No. It's not augmented reality. It's alternate.
Alternate reality. Augmented reality is what we show with the sick
we're gonna have
holograms.
heaps of that. Yeah, don't you worry about it. We can all have the
Holograms.
augmented reality experience. We just can't have the alternate reality experience as of yet,
Not-
unless you're inside my watch. Yeah.
Well, we're still here.
We are.
Ostensibly at 97.1%, maybe 97.2%.
It's like one of those like loading bars. We've all had it,
Exactly.
right? The loading bars that are like, droop, and you're like, oh, best day ever. And then it's like sitting at like 97% for the rest of the day.
I once had one that did that, and then so you need to restart your computer, and then it started again.
Oh, no.
I know. It's false advertising, Atlas.
Completely false advertising.
Just like we advertise League of Legends, and you got a podcast instead.
And we actually, thought that we were going to be checking out the players and stuff like that, but no. We got 6 static cam. No Born Ultimatum shenanigans here. Ain't no shaky cam. Just us on the screen, and it will never move.
Yeah.
That's just the best.
I mean, you're kind of lying, though. That's a bit facetious. There will eventually be either gameplay or probably just gameplay on this stream soon, we'd hope.
Yeah. No, well,
I guess we're in uncharted territory.
We're in massively uncharted territory. I mean, we haven't Chrono Broken here before.
No.
Chrono Broken, is that? I think
that's
that
how
works.
I'm feeling. I'm feeling quite Chrono Broken right now. I am a Chrono Broken man.
I'm sorry, Papa. I think it'll be okay. We
can
can reward ourselves with the walk of shame towards the chicken. Shame.
It's gone now. It's the second series, Atlas. We missed the chicken.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. We could order chicken. Actually, the series is going to finish too late. BBQ will be closed. So we can't order the chicken. Oh, I heard we're going to resume now. Are we going to resume
just
loading?
When you broke my spirit, we now get to resume. So we've actually managed to chrono break, and we are going to be getting into the game.
Maybe?
Oh, potentially. I mean, we were at 97% before.
Exactly.
And so now we're at 100%, and now it's doing that thing where it's sitting at 100%.
I know, they're even worse.
Oh, are we going to get the wheel of death? Is that going to happen?
There better not be a blue screen of death. There's no Zoe in this game, so we're probably
that's
all
true.
right.
I think we might be all right. Apparently there's a Zac in this game, though. So
the ghost of Zac.
Yeah, his soul is now escaping.
Oh, we're getting good news. We hear it's coming soon.
All right.
Ooh.
Let's do it. Holy, we're in video games. And Beyond decided that he didn't actually want to do that again. Would it not have been absolutely hilarious if he did exactly the same thing again? Oh my god, stunning. Does mean that ADD was in fact
has been dead a long time.
So long. How long was that pause? It was probably a long time.
I think we were probably around 40 to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But now we're back into gameplay.
And I've forgotten what happened in the beginning, so let's just go back. Khan was camped to high heaven. It was Beyond being able to get some fantastic ganks off early, while Peanut was just farming the entire map. And then we got the instant lane swap. We got the bottom lane of MVP up towards topside. They got first turret very quickly, and then transitioned that extra power that they put into their bottom lane towards the bottom side afterwards.
Man, Rite of Ages is still not stacked. It's been like 70 minutes in this game.
Oh my god. Maybe the hidden number is at like 11 billion now.
Don't make us chrono break again, Atlas.
By using the word 11 billion?
Yes. We're back in the game. We'll look at some of the item pickups. So it's Trinity Force and the BS sword already. No Sorcerer's Shoes for Ian. Very early rush on the now standard Zeke's Convergence coming through from Max.
Yep, very quickly picking that one up.
But the build slowed down by QSS onto Pilot. So gold lead, still there, about 1,400 gold. We like the scaling on MVP. Hull was cashed in years ago by Ian in the mid lane. It does feel like with Khan being able to freeze the wave and get a lot of CS, didn't get the kill, but got a kill involvement, maybe they can return to playing around Khan, because they have slowed down what felt like a huge advance by ADD in the early game.
Yeah, and if ADD was going to continue to be able to get that unkillable mode, on Poppy, then it wouldn't have been an option to have the split push Khan Camille tear down the structures. Now it's looking a little bit more likely as Beyond is going to turn up, try and help take down this last outer turret available for MVP. ADD is not very scared as he heads towards this one. The Kidnap's going to bring him back out again as Khan. He turns up looking for the stun but doesn't get it onto Ian. Max is going to turn up, but Gorilla not far behind. He's looking for the Solar Flare but doesn't find it. ADD not going to knock anyone away with that big hammer. And it all just ends up with MVP grabbing that last outer turret and moving on.
Yeah, Khan confident to walk up because they could just chain the ultimate into the hero's entrance after the Poppy ultimate was gone. No further action there. Summoner down on BDD. No flash any longer. MVP go back to playing 3 lanes, but they got a lot of the advantage in this game playing proactively around ADD. And now that 2 items are done on Khan with his boots complete, I wonder if they can recreate what got them most of the lead in this first 20 minutes.
Well, Prey has anything to say about it. Won't be happening. Grabbed himself that Muramana transform. He's feeling very, very good on this blue Ezreal to start things off. Peanut seems to have been forced into putting down a Rift Herald very, very far away from that top lane outer turret. Kingzone still looking for their first turret of the game.
Probably wasn't forced into it. I wonder why. It could be because Infernal is spawning. They want to draw someone topside.
Hey, you're right. I mean, it
was after the break that the take was done.
So I was like, oh, the Rift Herald has been sitting in his inventory for 45 minutes.
They're trying to get multiple objectives here, either the top lane outer, but positioning on Infernal as well for Kingzone.
Well, they're actually looking to try and fight for this one as well, as there's a steadfast presence.
I think it interrupts the Rift Herald charge, at least for a little bit, from what I understand. Anyways, we're seeing Infernal down to 2,000. Scuttle is organizes.
Yeah, Beyond is going to be able to lock that one down, but can they actually win the fight here? Solar Flare zoning everyone back towards Kingzone, but Khan, he's going to be the one to turn up before AD. ADD, but he's actually right in the middle of the battle.
They're still going.
Yeah, good stun. Ultimatum onto Ian there as well. Khan doing ridiculous things. Hero's entrance comes down and actually catches the Justice Punch at exactly the right time after that one wears off. Great play from BDD. And Kingzone answer back fantastically around the Dragon.
And they're going to turn it to Baron right now, Atlas, I think, at this point in the game. We're going to see the replay of what happened here. Remember that it's still a wombo comp from Kingzone, and the comp from MVP is largely around poking. They don't poke, Zach gives up his whole health bar. They have no more frontliners because ADD is very ignorable on the Poppy, and Khan still goes in because the ultimate guarantees positioning. They're probably going to get Baron out of it. We can see on the picture-in-picture, it's below half health.
Yep, Baron is getting taken down very, very quickly. 22 minutes into the game. If you saw this, with the first blood going down, with Beyond picking up a second one as well, Kingzone weren't looking great, and now it's looking like they're back in complete control. May not have the gold lead just yet, but that is going to change as these outer turrets start to tumble.
Not able to play front to back was MVP, not getting value out of the Zac. His passive still intact because we were able to chrono break through the unfortunate scenario around the Rift Herald. Items have loaded on to Kingzone. Khan can now split push with an item lead and the Baron buff as well. While MVP still do have great scaling options, the immediate power for Kingzone, Rod of Ages into the Haunting Guys complete now onto BDD. There's a chance you wombo a couple of fights and the game ends before scaling really matters.
Yep, it's just ridiculous. We pointed out when this team was going to actually have the power as well, and Kingzone obviously knew that to the nth degree, because as soon as they had these advantages, as soon as they had the things that they deemed necessary in order to make these plays, Prey had these couple of items that he needed, Gorilla was tanky enough to get himself involved, it all just seemed to work out. I feel like Kingzone, if there's anything that they're great at, it's playing around spikes in power that they can recognize for themselves.
And also playing around enemy spikes in power.
Yeah.
Being able to understand where they were strong and where they were not. And now Khan walks up to Poppy, and it's pretty cool steadfast presence. He's still going to go in.
Yeah. Ultimate's going to be traded, but BDD, he's not going to get bonked out. Winds of War come down. That stun was very late. But Khan, can he actually find it? There's the Sheen proc. That's going to do it.
Khan's taking the turret.
Yep, Stretch Armstrong is actually going to bring him back in there as BDD wanting to fight underneath this turret, and Pilot takes a lot of damage, gets the taunt, doesn't get the crushing blow, and isn't able to land the auto afterwards. That is a trade 1-for-1. The outer turret falls in the mid lane though, so still power to Kingzone.
Yeah. Kingzone having Khan take the turret aggro on the top side was a really big problem for them in the bot lane, I should say, sorry. Meant that he went down, it wasn't on BDD, wasn't there to collapse. Speaking of collapse, Peanut just kind of goes in brazenly and he might die.
Well, you also might just wander out there as well casually as the Permafrost is available to stop Beyond. True Shot Barrage actually not to find too much as Max heads on back out. Kingzone, despite not having a few members available, still managed to at least wander away with a couple of Barons left for a minute.
That was a true 3v4. If you notice, Khan and BD were soon to respawn. Neither of them had teleport or any ability to get back to the fight, so just showing some confidence. Goes the cleanse from Max, Beyond able to get out after everything. Where we sitting down, remember, a lot of turrets went the way of Kings that they didn't have access to before. They're now equal in the turret score. Baron was also able to get them into a gold lead. They continue to fight when they're strongest. 2 items is where I would argue they are at their most powerful. 3 and especially 4 is where MVP starts to get going.
Yeah, and I mean, items are certainly a point of power, but also map position is a point of power as well. As the towers get removed, there's more opportunities to catch people out, utilize this global advantage that they have with the hero's entrances. Oh man, that was so close. Pilot did manage to lock that one down, but True Shot Barrage, you'd say that he was robbed on the side of Prey.
Stopwatch was used by Ian in the previous fight, doesn't have it available. There's no way to answer. Hextech ultimatum into Galio. Oh, and Galio predictably has gone full AP in this game, so they're caught in transition. If they try to make an aggressive cut to prevent one of the side lane turrets from going down, and then the Wombo starts, Wombo will probably never end onto one of the 2 true threats on the side of MVP. Pilot doesn't have his 3rd item yet, so to me, Corki is the person you want to tie up at every opportunity.
Yep, also doesn't have that pesky Featherstorm to watch out for and play around. Now MVP trying to defend where they need to. It's 1-3-1, or 1-1-3, I guess, theoretically, if you're going to go top to bottom. Prey actually could get locked down here. Hero's entrance actually to come in, but it's not enough. Pilot going to be able to lock that one down, and now they need to deal with him, otherwise he's just going to tear them up. Peanut gets out with the Arctic Assault, but beyond, he's got another Elastic Slingshot. He should be able to get the work done. Ultimate from Peanut, just not enough either. And the Bloblets go down, but that's exactly what Beyond wants to be doing. Double kill comes in for Ian, and MVP able to play it real nicely in the skirmish.
Yeah, Kingzone could have truly disengaged, chose not to, end up giving a bonus 2 kills over the way of MVP. No Baron to punish them, but Ocean Drake is potentially something they can pick up. Khan and ADD, both are able to interrupt the teleport from either, means they were not able to impact the fight. We're going to see the replay. Womboing down Prey means there's only burst damage coming through from the Galio. Does have great positioning on the hero's entrance, but Prey is already dead when he arrives. It could have just been a 1-for-1 and then a disengage after Beyond cancels Elastic Slingshot. The call is to go back in after the ult is hit onto Ian, but it's against a Corki and a Xayah, both firing in a line. You need to show respect here. Kingzone choose not to. They do give away bonus kills to MVP.
Yeah, you have to say that QSS was pretty amazing out of Pilot. Basically instant when the Leona was coming out of Fog of War. So props to him. You're exactly right. There was no need to turn around and try it again when both the 80 carries on the side of MVP were still available. Now they should be able to grab themselves this Ocean Drake. Get a bit of water involved.
And we got a 5 spawns. So we're going to have triple Infernal spawn in this game. First 2 going the way of MVP.
So the potential Elder Drake for MVP, if they are able to grab that last Infernal, will be ludicrous.
Corki, one of the best abusers, given that every proc of his Gatling gun does proc the Elder Dragon buff.
True damage. Really liking our observers, by the way. That's exactly what we need to be watching, the True Shot Barrage to clean up 4 minion spot lane.
They've been very active today. They want to show us things. I appreciate the proactivity. Kingzone wanted to be proactive in the early game, and really only the mid game around the time the Chrono Break happened did the good news stories begin. Yeah. And yet you're still worried as a Kingzone fan that they can't take it at this point in the game. The fact that the Trinity Force, Infinity Edge, and Rapid Fire Cannon is done for Ian. Pilot close to 3 items himself. I feel like now there's actually a lot of counterplay for MVP, and it does get better as the game goes on. So this is really the moment. The next team fight probably decides the victor of this game.
Yeah, that's the sort of game ebbs and flows that Kingzone have tried to capitalize on earlier on, but maybe not enough. As now 3 items for Ian is a huge deal. Almost got Infinity Edge done for Pilot, and that'll be massive. The reason why Xayah and Corki is so great together is that they hit a power spike at 3 items both at the same time in a lot of ways.
And it's super mixed damage, well, consistent
just nutty,
mixed damage. Yeah. That is very difficult to itemize against. The Locket for the start of it.
And that's right now.
Yeah, they are very, very powerful here, so gonna have to be a wombo onto one of the 2. Otherwise, I feel like in a line, they will be mown down where they stand. It'll be a firing squad for Kingzone if they opt into the wrong fight.
Well, Khan's going to be able to take this blue buff. ADD just watches it go down as Beyond at least does get a pullback. But Peanut not going to worry about it too much. 2 tanks from the jungle. Not going to be battling it out as the Warmogs is completed for both of them. Locket of the Iron Solari done for Peanut just because he's been such an agriculturalist this game.
Kingzone control the pit. They're not able to push Vision ahead of the pit, but they do control the pit. They want to be able to sneak in Vision and then look for a collapse with the hero's entrance. Side lane, still farming up. It's okay, that one does hit.
Yep, Xenoblade goes in, but the Kidnap comes back out again. Hero's entrance just to keep Gorilla alive and Beyond. He's going to get taken out. The Bloblets, remember, weren't there. That was a brilliant ult coming in from Peanut. As Prey's able to get the damage off on the backline, and ADD prevented from doing anything. Khan could potentially go for some sort of tower dive, and inside he goes. Has the shield down as well, decides to go for some dirty farming. This tower has done so much damage as there's the stopwatch.
He's still taking it.
He's still taking, my God. Not too worried, and now he should be able to just take down the turret. Meanwhile, elsewhere, I believe the disengage was effective, and the Baron is now going to be going down for Kingzone.
Baron, such a big objective in this game. They needed it to be able to push forward. Baron is claimed. No ability for MVP to interrupt it. The Wombo does work. No escape plan for Ian. Something like a Guardian Angel could be considered, but sticking on the path right now, going to be going for a QSS of his own. No ability to stop the ultimatum. Again, if they delete one during the Wombo, maybe it's fine to navigate these fights. There's no threat onto Prey at all. because MVP largely want to kite back. They want to use the Keeper's Verdict from Poppy to knock away some tanks and then have their own tank line shield Ian and Pilot free hitting. But the disarray caused by Leona into Galio was enough to actually win the 4v4 for Kingzone.
I really like the idea from Beyond. He was like, oh, okay, well, Gorilla's trying to start a fight. Well, I'll just isolate him and make sure that we can take him down quickly. They just can't kill him fast enough. Hero's entrance just a little bit too good.
Ability power scaling on the resists also helps out the target that's focused on. They will reach a point where it's not enough. They will reach a point where everyone is fallible on the side of Kingzone, but that's not yet. That's probably 10 minutes away. So Kingzone want to break the base with this Baron.
Frightening thing is that we've got Asterix Gauge done. 3 items in for Khan. They're the 3 items that you feel really, really good about if you're a split pusher. So he's just having a great time on the Rift. Zonya's Hourglass done for PDD. There's Mortal Reminder in here. Kingzone. It's really good news. MVP, yes, they do have those 3 item spikes coming in with the Trinity Force, Infinity Edge, and Rapid Fire Cannon, as well as the Essence Reaver and the last 2 as well. Has now got a 1v1. One
of the struggles of MVP is if you think about this game, AD wants to be in a team fight ejecting someone out of the Hextech Ultimatum. In a side lane, they're not getting value of what the Poppy brings because he's just slowly losing objectives to the Baron buff and the amount of turret threat that Khan has. So AD's desperately wanted for team fights, as that's where he can do a lot of work against first Camille and then the rest of the members with consistent peel and CC. In a side lane, you get much less value out of him. Kingzone heavily incentivized to keep up the 1-3-1 and to keep the Poppy away.
Well, Beyond is going to try and start a little bit of a fight here, or was at least considering it. Pilot wasn't around.
They're going to lose his turret eventually. Yep. Lifesteal into just the Trinity Force autos.
Yeah, and even if ADD can clear out minion waves, still, it's just going to take pot shot after pot shot with that Trinity Force coming out from Khan. You can see it's almost down to half health already. Just seems happy to tank up this turret. Ravenous Hydra pretty damn good, giving him all of his health back, and that means that outer turrets have been removed on the map everywhere. We're moving towards 8,000 gold the lead. 10,000 often that number that we look at as being pretty insurmountable and a difficult one. Here at 34 minutes into the game, MVP, they've got a lot of scaling opportunities. Things like that certainly isn't going to be done and dusted just yet. It's still going to be a rough time. And when Beyond takes so much damage like we just saw, that could be the big problem. As Keeper's Verdict once again.
Oh, Poppy got it!
He takes it! That was actually after the smite as well, as Peanut not able to grab it in time, was a little bit too scared about that big hammer, and that means triple Infernal for MVP.
He got rushed into it in that triple Infernal as the items continue to roll in for Ian, and Pilot could still reign supreme in this game with the Baron buff that just expires. They do not break the base.
I barely even knew that Keeper's Verdict did damage.
Not much. Yeah. But they hurried the smite. The smite was around 1,000, so I imagine it was probably just the last 50 damage or so that undid Peanut. Gonna watch the replay now to confirm. It was at 1,067, so I imagine did about 50 to 150 damage to finish off the Infernal. That's a tilter.
That is a tilter. 6 items done for Prey, though, and he's probably going to look at that and feel a little bit more pleased. Still a few more for Pilot to pick up. This is the reason why this team composition will scale so much better on the side of MVP. They get to put more money into the items that they build.
And now it feels like with Guardian Angel probably being the pickup for Khan, now you have to roll super high. Now I think you go for the play that a lot of teams would avoid, because if you think about how this game goes, how do they take a turret without killing multiple people? They try to walk up for a turret, then the triple Infernal, Corki and Xayah are going to have a field day. I think Ultimatum into the Galio ultimate under a turret is probably what they need to do, and they have Zonias and probably a Guardian Angel to drop aggro. So I think it's time to get very, very aggressive, unless you can draw an MVP further down the map.
Yeah, I think they need to split them across the map, though. As another kidnap onto Gorilla. Not the target that they want, as another hero's entrance comes in. Solar Flare gonna get the slow onto Beyond, and they're just gonna focus him down. They get the cell division, and can MVP actually find their way back in? Teleport from ADD, but it means the tank line's not doing anything, and Prey picks up the kill onto the Zac. ADD now hunted down and possibly destroyed, but no. Has the flash. That is gonna get him out of dodge, but that is the pick off onto Beyond. Is gonna be up in time for the Baron. MVP lose one, and now Kingzone with a lot more pressure to put on.
And they just can't get value out of Pilot and Ian free hitting. There's always so much disarray and CC threat in front of them. They're getting very low value. The damage numbers from Corki and Xayah, close to 400 CS each, should be off the chain. They haven't been. Space has been very well occupied by the side of Kingzone. MVP rinse and repeat. They still will not have their base broken from that single pick onto Beyond. They'll get another chance or two. But if the 1-3-1 can be restarted again, we already saw that we're at the point in the game where Khan can largely ignore the Poppy and just pop down turrets.
Oh yeah. And a couple of shots here as well. Guardian Angel is completed. 2-0-6 for Peanut as well, who's only one off perfect kill contribution. He's had a great game despite having a slow start.
He'll feel sheepish about not being able to pick up the Infernal, but he's usually so reliable on his smite. Probably not going to be a big deal.
Ooh, Stefo's presence actually going to still get him slowed.
Don't really have enough damage around to just train onto the Poppy and kill him anytime soon.
Yeah, sorry, I'm used to, you know, tank battles being something that I have to yell about because there's nothing else to yell about. But there's plenty in this game, so I'll calm down. Especially when Khan actually does some damage. That's good.
We're happy to see a carry. My first thought was Jace, but because of the Galio combination, Camille made a lot of sense. Those are the two picks I think he would have been considering between.
Peanut's just going to face check Beyond.
2 levels up.
Yeah, probably feeling okay as they get the permafrost. It's actually doing some serious damage. They bring the Piggy Lady back in. Hero's entrance actually comes down, but the ultimate's a bit of an afterthought from Peanut. Doesn't find the mark. Kingzone continuing to utilize the split push on the bottom side, and the Baron has spawned.
They have a war as they saw Ezreal eat over. Like you say, amusing that Gorilla is stopped, but Gorilla could just die in the front. They have to peel.
Oh my god, Eclipse just gives him so much resists. Now Khan fighting underneath. There's the flash out from Prey. That means that he is in a decent position, and Beyond is just getting evaporated. Just not a lot of options here for the jungler out of MVP. Really great Captain Jack QSS coming out from Ian, but he still has to walk out of this fight, and now the carries are completely exposed as Max gets taken out. Khan is inside the base. There's nowhere to run if you're one of these AD carries coming out from MVP. And the Keeper's Verdict is actually going to save Khan's life. They're right underneath this turret, and Khan's actually going to come back in. He doesn't mind. He's happy to keep going after this ace, and they'll get it. Now Kingzone need to try and find a way in, and they've managed to get this inhibitor bot side. This could just be game.
It will be game, Atlas. They split MVP to death. Never was Poppy there to actually be a tanky frontline to allow the Corki and the Xayah to do damage. They did no damage. They died. And Kingzone DragonX, after a long pause and a shaky early game, do take down game 1.
Yeah, unfortunate that we did have to have that long pause in the middle, but the way Kingzone played out that game after they managed to get to a point where they had advantages in their composition, utilized it so incredibly well and didn't wait for that Xayah and Corki to come back in. So man, it feels like that was the longest game in history, but actually 38 minutes, not too bad.
Really surreal game here. Kingzone, again, it's going to be so hard to judge because for us it was so long ago. If you're watching the VOD and were able to jump forward, it did seem like Kingzone fell behind, got that one important kill, collapsing on bot lane, turned it into a Rift Herald, and things got better and better. So the moment they turned around the game, smartly, they kept 1-3-1-ing, they split them to death, the Poppy never got any value, and they won. But that was difficult to do, and MVP had a great game plan for the early game and should be rewarded for how smart they really drafted and thought around an early game that we expected Kingzone to dominate.
Yeah, and you have to think about, you know, all of the mental things that we were talking about in that gigantic pause as well. It's a little bit unfortunate for MVP that they had to go through that, and Beyond, you could imagine, was very upset because, you know, he felt like he had that steal opportunity on the Rift Herald. You know, there was some options that may have potentially been available to them. These things sort of didn't work out, but when you've got huge pause like that, shows the mental fortitude of a team like Kingzone to keep their heads in it, keep the plan moving forward, understand exactly how strong you are, and then capitalize effectively. Some shout-outs do need to go forward. I mean, ADD picking up that steal with the Keeper's Verdict was fantastic. Triple Infernal is a great thing to go for, and they managed to pick it up
Triple Infernal with no frontline means they're zoned out of implied damage. The implied threat of Xayah and Corki, outstanding. The reality, though.
Yep. Just brilliant. But that is only game 1 that's going to be wrapping up. We still have another game to go. So after a short break, we'll be back with MVP versus Kingzone game 2.